All right. So with that, tonight we are joined by Ana Bogdanova, who's a CodeU grad who completed our web development pathway, and she currently serves as a product manager for Virtual Peaker. So with that, I'll hand it over to Anna. Thanks so much for being here with us tonight.
Thank you, Shannon. Let me pull up my presentation. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about product management. What a product management actually is, what do product managers do, how they collaborate with developers. I also will talk about the difference between product, project, and program management roles. And if you will be interested in this role, you can also learn how to make a transition from the software engineering role into the product management role. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ana. I'm a senior product manager at Virtual Peaker. I have 6+ years of experience in product management and also a marketing background. I built and launched both web and mobile products and work in both B2B and B2C space. And a few words about my company. I currently work for Virtual Peaker. We are Louisville-based, and I'm proud to say that about 98% of our developers came from Code Louisville. So I really appreciate that this incredible program exists, and I'm able to work with smart and incredibly talented people in my team. What do? We work with smart devices like EVs, EV chargers, batteries, and thermostats to connect them and then control them. To help utilities manage energy more efficiently during the evening time, then utilities need to control the electric grid. So we control devices like smart thermostats during, let's say, a hot summertime. And why do we do that? As a product manager, I need to explain, because then a lot of people are using electricity at the same time. It puts a strain on the grid. And electric utilities want to temporarily reduce, adjust smart devices just a little bit in a way that homeowners usually don't notice. So the grid stays stable and energy costs stay lower for everyone. This is what we do. So let me jump back into my less corporate presentation about the product management. What is a product management? Then you were working on your capstone project, you had to decide what you're going to build, and in addition to that, you had to decide what you're going to build first. So you had to prioritize the most important features over less important features, and this is what we basically do. So we define the strategy, what are we going to build, and how that will affect the users, the company goals, and the company metrics. In addition to that, we serve as a bridge between engineering team, stakeholders, the business, marketing team, customer support teams, and they use us as a communication point. We need to explain to engineer what they're going to build, and we need to explain why we're building it to the customers and to the marketing. Every product management job is different, I would say, and we'll talk about it just in a second, but all the product managers have something in common. We have a set of these tasks that we do constantly. And I want to say that it's very clear that product managers don't build just what they want to build. So we are not building the features just because we think it's a brilliant idea or just because it's going to be useful for us. Product managers never do that. They first need to define a problem. How they define a problem, they can talk to users, they can look into the data. Sometimes we get some feedback from customers, and based on their feedback, we can define a problem. Then we would create some solutions for that problem. We don't know sometimes if it's going to work out or not. So we can either write a solution or an assumption. We can assume that something's going to work out for that particular problem. Then later we can test those assumptions. For that, we can do A/B tests, we can do concierge testing and other types of product tests. If you are interested in this particular topic, I would be happy to do another presentation about that. That's my favorite topic. Then we know what we're gonna build. We will write task descriptions or specs for developers. And in those specs, we'll put everything that would be useful for developers, like user stories, the customer experience that we envision for this new feature or for an update. We can also link some research or some data, some background, if we know all about that, all the designs, everything we know. In addition to that, when we already know that we're going to build something, in addition to that, we need to prioritize these tasks because we also have another tasks in the backlog or in the roadmap. We also might have some bugs that we need to fix. So we need to tell the development team when we're going to start working on this feature, on this new update. We also collaborate with engineering, design, and marketing to define the scope of the feature, to understand how it's going to look like, to explain the value, the benefit for the users, and also for the internal teams. And we need to put a little bit more excitement about this feature because we're investing in this new feature. And when we launch the feature, we need to check the data because we need to understand if it's working as intended. With that, we can measure success. We can see if users are actually using it as we want them to use it. And if not, that can lead us back to the problem. So if we see any gaps in the data, in the user experience, we can then define a new program and start again from this first step. As I mentioned, there are different types of product managers, and you can see them all on the screen. The product management type will define the focus of your work and the team that you will collaborate the most. Usually, if you would search for the product management role, it might just say product manager. And if it's a more niche job, it might be only included in the job description. I'm sorry, in the job description. But let's say a technical PM job can be tremendously different from what I do as a B2B product manager. Your day-to-day job as a product manager will depend on factors like company size, product type as a B2B or B2C product, team structure, and how mature the product is. For instance, I previously worked for a B2C company where users use the product 24/7, and they were located in the different time zones, and we're constantly getting feedback because our users are very tech savvy. Now I work in the B2B company where our users, program managers, the utility program managers, they use the app not every day, and they use it from 9 to 5 on work days. So my team structure is quite different from the team that I interacted in the past. Let's talk about how product managers collaborate with developers. Product managers do not manage developers, so we cannot hire, we cannot fire developers, but it's very important to build a strong relationship with the development team because that would lead to success and great products at the end. Product managers help to figure out what we're going to build and when we're going to build that. And developers can ask product managers back why we're building this feature, what's the value for the users, what's the value for the prospects, for the future customers, how this new feature is related to the previous feature that we just launched. And product managers need to sell the feature, the idea, not only to the salespeople, not only to the stakeholders, but also to the developers. They need to excite developers about this new feature. Product managers do not tell developers how to build a particular feature. but we often think about the use cases, the trade-off, and the technical constraints. If it's a big project, we could tell developers what to prioritize first, what we can deliver first, what can be valuable for the customers, even if the full project will not be delivered. That makes development job much easier. And developers also can ask questions, and product managers would often ask questions as well. We can ask developers to provide some feedback, some functional feedback on the user interface. We can ask developers how hard it will be to build something, or if we can ship a smaller version of something. We can also ask about the timeline. So it's a constant collaboration and communication. If you're already thinking that you want to transition into the product management role, if you want to learn more, I want to share my I want to share what I personally love in this job. And first of all, it's the teamwork. As a product manager working for a software company, I can work with smart, talented, funny, and friendly people. And this is the most important thing for me. I think that you can go through everything if you have a good team that's covering your back, that supports you. It's very important for me, and I'm happy that in my current company, I have a good team that I work with. Another thing is discovering insights, whatever through deep conversations with customers or through data. I can reveal something that I was not aware of. And I have this feeling of being some sort of a detective. Then you talk to a customer and you know what they're gonna say, and you're just waiting for this moment, and they're saying something tremendously different. That's an incredible feeling that reveals that you have something uncovered in your app, in your system, that you can update and make the user experience better. I also like seeing my feature, my baby, being in prod. I think this feeling is very common for developers as well. And knowing that real people are using your feature, they're clicking on the buttons, it's an incredible feeling that I have. And this is why, one of the main things why I'm working as a product manager. I also like solving problems, not just at work, but also in my real life. And I like turning messy things into clear and thoughtful solutions. And this job gives me an opportunity to apply these skills in the products that I build. There are jobs that might sound similar, so I wanted to talk about them as well. There is a product manager job, and also a project manager and a program manager. Some people think that it's the same job. I know that some people might even apply being a project manager or a product manager to these positions that they think are similar to their role, but they're quite different. And I wanted to talk about that as well. So as we talk, product manager is responsible for the vision, for the strategy. We own the why behind the product, and we will prioritize the task for the future week, for weeks, for the months, for the quarter. We can prioritize the roadmap. We need to define the product market fit, meaning that the product that we are building must meet the market expectation and market needs, because we're building it just for that. We also work closely with customers and business. Compared to the project manager, where project manager is the executor. So we have a project that we need to build, if it's a software feature, or it might be another type of the project, and the project manager owns how and when. So they would define the timeline for the project. Sometimes they need to understand the budget for the project. They need to know who is doing what. And in order to be able to deliver a particular feature or project, let's say in a year, they need to know what team should be doing in 1 month. I would say that project managers are very structured people. They might be quite different. They might have quite different type of personality comparing to the product managers. If you attended the previous meeting with Danny and David, David said that if he doesn't have a structure, he would create a structure. And this is definitely about the project manager. They're very structured people. And I would say that good project managers are also everyone's friends. Because at the very last item, I'm saying that they need to remove blockers, and sometimes you need to collaborate with internal stakeholders. Sometimes you need to communicate something to clients that have different needs and goals. You need to work with external parties. So it's a lot of cross-functional and external collaboration. Program managers are also quite different from product and project managers. I did not have a chance to work with program managers in one team, but program managers are my users, so I work with them closely. They're focused on delivering complex initiatives, and they're responsible for program health, program key metrics. One program sometimes could be a combination, a set of different projects. So they coordinate projects across multiple teams and departments, and they might be responsible for the program design, but it could not be the case. They're focused on execution, timelines, and also communication between different stakeholders. If you want to learn more, or maybe you want to have a deep dive into the project management, we can ask David and Danny to do a presentation about that. If you want to learn more about program manager role, I think we can ask Shannon to find some people who would do that. That I think also two good roles that you might consider if you want to transition into something different. Oops. Clicking in. And about the transition, if you want to become a product manager, there are 3 ways how you can do that. You can transition with your current company, and this is the easiest way to get into this role, but I do understand that it sometimes might not be possible because you are not working for a software company or you don't have any job openings in the current company. Another option, you can start your own company and be a head of product. It could be the case that when you're working on a capstone project, you might realize that it's a brilliant idea and you need to start your own company. So you can be a head of product and be your own product manager. And the third way is to land your first job as a product manager with no experience in the product management. That's absolutely possible. A lot of people did that. If you need some inspiration, you can go on LinkedIn and find some people who currently work for Google, because they like to hire people with no product management experience. That's absolutely possible if you can explain your future employer why you're perfect for this role and what skills, what background you already have to be successful in this role. I want to say that I'm not a career coach, and moving into the next section, I want to say that if you need a career advice, if you need to review your background and understand what transferable skills you have, what chances do you have in the next chapter of your career being a product manager, you can reach out to Shannon or Jenny for that. If you have any other questions about product management or just want to chat with me, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. So how to become a product manager in 2025? I have some good news for you guys. Right now, I'm seeing more and more job postings where technical background or software engineering experience is required. So previously there was a trend when companies would list technical background or engineering software development background as a preferable skill set instead of MBA. And I was so surprised that MBA was gone. Now I'm seeing it more and more moving into the required skill set. So we have a very good chances in landing a product management role, especially a junior product management role where the previous experience is not required. And to do that, you can do some of the steps that I listed on this slide. I do understand that it's quite simple to just write them down, and it might be quite hard to execute all of those steps, but you can try what works for you. And I think the first one will be the most important one, and it will bring you the more insight and information, more than you can get from this presentation, from any book, from any paid course, because when you talk to real people, they could share some insights, what worked for them, what steps they did to transition into this role. It's very important. So first, I suggest to reach out to some product managers. I suggest to reach out to those who have pretty similar career path to yours, who did their transition from another job or from software development role into the PM role. They would know what you're doing right now. They would know, they would feel your pain, and they would probably help you. You can reach out and say that you are considering this transition. You just want to learn more about this role, what they like, what they don't like. People like sharing their personal experience. People like talking about themselves. I think if you do a small outreach, someone would probably talk to you about that. You can also apply your domain expertise. And unfortunately, in 2025, if you don't have any experience or expertise, you need to go and get it yourself. So what you can do, you can work on a capstone project, and that project could be focused on the industry, on the domain that you are interested in. And this is how you can get your expertise in this subject. And the more niche it will be, the more chances you will have to land a PM job. The must-have right now on this interesting market is to have a domain expertise. So this is the main thing that employers are looking into it right now. Then they're hiring product managers. They need to have a domain expertise. And again, the more niche it is, the more chances you have. For instance, remember I was talking about virtual peaker. Virtual peaker controls smart devices. If I say that my domain is smart devices, IoT devices, that will be a very vague definition of my expertise. It will be a very big domain. If I would say that my expertise is managing smart devices for demand response programs for electric utilities, that will be a very niche expertise that I have. And you better understand what you can bring to the employer. What is your domain? If you don't have it, try to get it with a capstone project. Try to look for some roles. If you would look for some roles, try to target those that have a technical background. This is your advantage against your competitors, other product managers who do not have a technical background, like I have just a little bit. And of course, you need to highlight your transferable skills, the skills that you already have, and explain how they will be applicable to a PM role. I created this list after talking to my colleague who made a transition from the software engineer into the product manager. And she kindly shared this list with me, saying that it's absolutely possible to make this transition. The very first thing is to have a product mindset. What it means, you should think like a product manager. You should be proactive. Product managers are always proactive. They are not reactive. You don't need to be an extrovert, but you definitely need to be able to communicate your ideas, your decisions to other teams and your colleagues. You need to understand, this is how something that you can highlight on your LinkedIn, on your resume. You need to understand why you are building a particular feature, how this feature will affect the users, how this feature will affect the business goals. You can emphasize in what situations or projects you apply your problem solving skills, how you analyze data to make particular decisions, and if you had any public speaking experience, if you did any presentations or demos, that will be nice to highlight on your resume and LinkedIn as well. I did not dive into how you can do that, but you can check this first book that I added here that could be pretty helpful, Cracking the PM Interview. It gives a good overview of the product management job, of what kind of product managers are, and what product management roles are available in different big fund companies. It also explains how you can explain and highlight all your transferable skills and convert them into stories with key results in your resume. It's a very good book. I recommend checking. And the second one has a very controversial title, but it was a recommendation from my colleague, and I bought it, and I think it's really good. It has all the frameworks and processes and checklists, explains how you can communicate different things to different teams. I think it's about you don't know what you don't know. You can just check this book and see what frameworks are available, and if you want to Google more, if you want to see the alternatives, you can do that. But it's a good start for for people who are transitioning into the product management. I also created a list of helpful materials and resources that you can download by scanning this QR code. And we are transitioning in this Q&A session. Feel free to ask questions if you have any. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Anna. That was such an awesome overview. I think there are so many really cool tech adjacent type roles, and a lot of our students go into those types of roles. They're not always necessarily going for programmer or developer roles, and so it's really cool to hear from people who are actually in them. Can you talk a little bit about, so I know you did the web development course through CodeU, but just like your decision to take that course, and if those skills have come in handy at this point, or if it's more just being able to communicate with your team, or just kind of what you've been able to take from that course.
Yeah, that's a good question. That I was looking for a job 4 years ago. I was preparing my answers to the most common behavioral questions, and one of them was what you're good at and what you're bad at. And my answer was, I'm not a very technical person, saying that I can not freely speak about the backhand. And now you should not say that in the interview. Product managers cannot say that anymore. You need to understand technical concepts. It's logical because we are getting more and more AI jobs, and companies expect that product managers will speak with developers, will be able to assess models, will be able to explain the final result to developers. That's pretty understandable. So I took that course to be a little more technical, and also my whole team is using JS. My team is like 100%, they graduated from code level, they all graduates. I wanted to understand a little bit who they are, what they went through. And of course, now with this knowledge that I gained in Code Louisville, I can see why we did some decisions in the platform, why we're solutioning something in a particular way. I can see why it was built this way, and that helps me to understand how we can easily make an update. So you can think of the user interface first. You can think about the user experience, um, all the visual fancy things, and then you need to understand how developers are going to build that. And with this knowledge that I gained, I can do pretty, not pretty easy, but much easier comparing to my previous experience. And I'm very grateful that I was able to attend and complete my path.
That's excellent. Yeah, I think I know you brought up AI and just kind of we get questions a lot about how AI is going to change things. And obviously we don't have a magic ball or like we can't read the future, but I think like you said, just being open to learning and kind of growing and adapting is a really great way to handle it. Vernita, do you want to go ahead and unmute yourself?
Yeah, thank you for saying my name right.
Oh, good.
So I noticed, I appreciate the recommendations for the books and project management. The only reason I even have a small inkling of its existence is I've looked at the Google career certificates before, and because I have the one listed on there, and I was curious if you knew anything about that particular certificate, or if you know anybody that's done it, or if you think it's helpful for anybody interested in this kind of work.
I have mixed feelings about that. My colleague who made her transition, she has a certificate. I cannot recall which particular one she got, but I think it might not be required. You can think about it as an investment that you are making. It could be free, it could not be free, but you're investing your time anyway. I would first go and check job descriptions that you are targeting and see if you need a certificate for that job. What I would do next, I would go and talk to people who are currently have job that I'm targeting, or maybe they have like my ideal job, and I would go and check their profiles on LinkedIn and see if they have certificates. If you're an extrovert, you can even reach out to them and ask if they have a particular certificate. Was it helpful for them? Did it do something to them? I know that some jobs, especially jobs that focus on Scrum and Agile and project management role, that would require some certificates. But if it's not a requirement, I would think about maybe getting more experience. But again, it's up to you. I think it's also about your the learning process. If you like learning through the course with mentors, with people who are guiding you, that it works for you more than I don't know, reading books and creating your own projects. That should work.
Thank you.
Karen, do you want to go ahead?
Hi, yeah. I hope you can hear me. I'm on my phone. My camera's off because I have a baby in my lap right now. So, sorry about that. This is a really broad question, and you may not have the answer to it, which is understandable. But what are kind of like when you're talking about domains? What are some like hot or appealing domains in the market right now?
Karen, thanks for coming with Freddie. I appreciate that. I think we should ask career team about that. I've heard a lot about healthcare industry. There is a huge demand in this area. I don't know why. Maybe the career team can help me with that. But I saw a lot of job posting in healthcare, and I know that Cincinnati and Louisville are kind of big hubs for health care tech jobs. So if you're interested in this domain, you can look into that. What else? I think if I can recall that correctly, also EdTech. That might be because a lot of people are switching to remote roles. A lot of people they're gaining new experiences. They're maybe transitioning to other roles, and they're learning a lot. Other than that, I cannot recall any other industries, but I think we should ask the career team about that.
Yeah, I can add in a little. So I think the reason that healthcare is such a huge industry in Louisville really goes back to Humana, since their headquarters is here, and there have been so many like spin-off type companies, and there are a lot of elder care companies in the area. So that for sure. And I know that most of those hire for product manager type roles. So that's a good one. Insurance companies also seem to be pretty big around Louisville in the Cincinnati area. With CodeU specifically, we at this point are at almost 1,400 students who have gone on to get jobs in tech, which is wild to me because I was part of the first class. So it's been really cool to see the program grow. But I would say a majority of those are at smaller to mid-sized companies. So we do have a solid number at Humana, at companies like Papa John's, some of the bigger ones that are based in Louisville, just because we've been around for a decade locally. But I think it's more like the size. So we find that our students really seem to thrive, and Virtual Peaker is a great example of that, where Anna is. I was telling her before we joined the call, or before everybody else joined the call, that I met with the founder of Virtual Peaker back when they had, I think, 3 or 4 employees, and now it's grown so much. So it seems to me, at least, and I know our careers team would back me up, that those types of opportunities seem to gel really well for our students, because you're able to meet some potential mentors. You may be in person for some of the time. It may be like a hybrid, or I know Virtual Peaker is a remote first company at this point. But I'd say that that's the biggest ones. Otherwise, though, we do always try to share as many jobs as possible in our Slack channels, and that includes both directly tech roles and tech adjacent roles. So I would definitely keep an eye on any of the jobs channels in Slack if you're not in them. If you start typing in jobs to browse channels, there's 6 or 7, I believe. They're broken down by region as well as remote. And we definitely, I know, have shared product manager roles there in the past.
Thank you all.
There's some great questions. Does anybody else have anything for Anna? Okay, well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up. I know I learned a lot. I think it's always really cool to hear directly from folks who are in these jobs, because I am not a product manager myself. I could guess what one does, but actually hearing straight from you, Anna, what you do day to day and how your tech background has helped has been really cool. Her and I were also talking before. I was a student in Code Louisville, and mainly joined because I was in marketing type roles, and knew that learning these tech skills would help me. And so I hope for a lot of you, wherever you are in your tech journey, that hopefully this inspired you, or maybe you know of some new roles now that might be available to you as you complete your schooling. So thank you again, Anna, for presenting tonight, and thank you all for being in attendance. We appreciate it, and have a great rest of your night.
Thank you all. Yeah, great audience. Bye-bye.